A third-grade teacher in Texas just walked out of her classroom, mid-lesson, on camera. She threw her keys on the desk, looked at 28 kids, and said, "I can't do this anymore." And the reason she gave? Well, it wasn't low pay, it wasn't bad parents. It was two words that are tearing apart every school in America right now: gentle parenting. And if you have kids in school or, you went to school in the last 20 years, you need to hear this. Because what's happening in USA classrooms in 2026 is not just a debate, it's a war. And the kids are caught right in the middle. If you care about what's happening to the next generation of Americans, hit subscribe right now. We break down the real stories behind the headlines every week. No politics, no fluff, just what's actually happening in USA schools. And hey, comment down below, are we raising kids or are we raising bosses? I'm reading every single comment. So let's start with that Texas video. It dropped on TikTok on a Tuesday. By Friday, 40 million views. The teacher, Miss Ramirez, 12 years in the district. She's standing there with dry erase markers in her hand. A student walks across the room, cuts right in front of another kid, and takes his pencil. No can I, no sorry. So she says, "Hey, we use our words and we ask first." The kid just shrugs. "You're not my mom." She tries again. "In this classroom, we respect each other." And then another kid right from the back yells, "Make me." That's when she drops the markers, picks up her bag, and walks out. Her caption read, "I was trained to teach, not to negotiate with terrorists." Really harsh words, right? But get this, 6,000 teachers commented exactly the same thing. Same. And look, this isn't just an isolated incident in Texas. USA Today reported that in the last 6 months, teacher resignations are up a massive 23% from 2023. That is huge. And when you ask them why they quit, they don't say money first. They say with complete exhaustion, "I have no authority anymore." Part 1. The clash of ideologies. To understand exactly why classrooms are breaking down, we really have to look at the two warring philosophies at the heart of this explainer. We are looking at a deep contrast of two totally different beliefs. On one side, we have the old school approach, which prioritizes structured preparation for society, a society that generally does not negotiate. On the other side, we have gentle parenting, which prioritizes emotional connection and operates on the belief that punishment actually creates trauma. Let's break down side 1. Old school. This is how most Americans over 30 were raised. Rules were crystal clear. Respect was inherently expected. Consequences were immediate. In class, that looks like raise your hand, don't talk back, sit down, eyes forward. If you messed up, detention, call home, principal's office, maybe even suspension. The philosophy was incredibly simple. School is preparation for the real world. Teachers from this era will tell you point blank, "I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to teach you math and how to function in society." And for decades, it worked. Test scores were higher, classrooms were quieter. One retired principal in Ohio told me, "In 1998, if a kid cursed at me, he was gone for 3 days. Parents backed me up. Now, I get an email saying you hurt his feelings." The core belief of old school is absolute. Authority creates safety, and structure creates success. And without it, kids don't learn discipline, how to lose, or how to take no for an answer. Now for side 2, gentle parenting. This actually didn't start in schools. It started on Instagram and TikTok around 2018. It's a therapeutic approach focused on emotion validation, setting boundaries, and co-regulation. The idea? No yelling, no shaming, no punishments. Instead, it's phrases like, "I see you're angry," or "You're the boss of your body." And parents brought this straight into the classroom. Terrified of repeating the fear-based discipline they endured as kids, they started emailing teachers. "Please don't raise your voice at my child. Don't use a red pen, it's triggering. Can we do a restorative circle instead of detention?" School districts listened because, honestly, they were afraid of lawsuits, bad PR, and losing funding. So timeouts became calm down corners. Suspensions became behavior intervention plans. Teachers were trained to get on the kids' level, eye to eye, and ask, "What need are you trying to meet with this behavior?" The core belief here is that kids misbehave because of unmet needs and that connection creates cooperation, not fear. And for many parents, it makes total sense. One mom in California told us, "I was hit with a belt. I'm not doing that to my son. I'd rather he respect me than fear me." Part 2. The classroom train wreck. Here's where these two worlds collide and things get mathematically impossible. You have one teacher, 45 minutes, and 30 kids, split right down the middle between two completely different sets of home rules. Half were raised old school at home. Do what the teacher says or you're grounded. The other half were raised gentle at home. You can say no to adults. Your feelings matter most. Let's walk through this cascading failure to see how a simple classroom instruction turns into a total hostage situation. Step 1, the teacher says, phones away.
Step 2, Kid A, raised old school, complies immediately. Step 3, Kid B, raised gentle, says, I need it for my anxiety. My therapist said so. Step 4, Kid C just keeps scrolling and says, you can't make me. So what exactly does the teacher do here? If they take the phone, Kid B's parent complains to the district. If they ignore it, Kid A's parent demands to know why their child is distracted. Send Kid C to the office, the principal just sends him back in 10 minutes with a behavior contract. A 5th grade teacher in Florida actually recorded her day and found she spent 22 minutes of a 50-minute class just managing behavior. Having to negotiate 5 more minutes of math if a student can sit by the window isn't school. It's a hostage situation. And this friction, it's a systemic, nationwide reality. According to a 2025 report from the National Center for Education Statistics, 74% of teachers say student behavior is straight up worse than it was 5 years ago. Now, office referrals are actually down 18%, but that's not because kids are magically behaving better. It's because schools have completely stopped writing them due to the massive amounts of paperwork and endless, exhausting parent complaints. Which brings us to a really startling paradox. According to the CDC, anxiety and depression in children aged 8 to 12 is actually up 40% since 2020. The softer, accommodation-heavy approaches in the classroom haven't actually made kids less anxious. In fact, parents who say they want gentle parenting are now putting their kids on 3-year wait lists for charter schools that enforce strict, traditional behavior codes, because ultimately, they're scared. Part 3, Voices from the Front Lines. Behind all this data are real human beings. And we really need to build some deep empathy for both the educators and the families caught up in this transition. An Arizona middle school teacher shared this incredibly exhausting reality with us. Quote, I had a kid throw a chair, not at me, just threw it. We did a restorative circle after. He apologized. 2 days later, he did it again. Because what did he lose? Nothing. I'm not allowed to suspend him. End quote. Teachers have been forced into the roles of mediators, social workers, and therapists, completely losing the ability to enforce basic safety or actually teach their planned lessons. But wait, we have to pivot immediately to the parents' perspective here, because parents are absolutely not the villains in this story. They are desperately trying to protect their kids. An Illinois mom told us, I was screamed at in school. I froze. I didn't learn anything for a whole year. I don't want that for my daughter. These parents aren't trying to destroy classrooms, they're just trying to ensure their kids don't grow up with that same fear-based paralysis they experienced. And this brings us to the bigger picture. Both sides actually have a point. Society is essentially asking schools to build hierarchy followers, people who can show up on time and take feedback to build companies and hospitals, while simultaneously asking them to build self-advocating creators who set boundaries and don't burn out. And the kids? Well, they are intelligently code-switching. They know the rules at home are different from the rules at school, which are different from the rules on TikTok. They just pick the rule that benefits them in the moment for survival. Part 4. What is actually working in 2026? Let's shift gears into the synthesis portion of our explainer and look at the innovative school districts that are successfully resolving this ideological war. Check out this brilliant strategy from a school district in Utah. They realized the core issue was inconsistency, so they radically decided to train parents and teachers together to use the exact same language. At home, parents say, we use respectful voices. At school, teachers say, we use respectful voices. That simple alignment, that consistency between adults, led to a massive 34% drop in suspensions in just 1 year. It's a complete game changer. We're also seeing massive success in Tennessee charter schools that are blending the best of both worlds. They enforce old school structure, firm rules, no phones, uniforms, sit up straight. But they deliver it with a gentle tone and really clear explanations. A teacher will say, we don't have phones because we respect each other's focus. They give kids the safety of boundaries, but with the respect of a why. Which brings us to the impartial, hard truth that no one on social media wants to admit. Gentle parenting without boundaries is just avoidance, and old school discipline without connection is just fear. Kids absolutely need both. They need to know that their feelings are totally valid and that their actions have real consequences. Right now, schools are being asked to do the emotional work of the home, and parents are being asked to do the academic work of the school, and frankly, neither side has the training for it. Part 5. The Future of Schools. Based on current structural trends, what do the next 2 years actually look like for the American education system? We are tracing a massive coming fragmentation. In early 2026, expect a huge surge in legislation, parental rights bills clashing directly with teacher protection bills in the courts. By late 2026, we are seeing the deployment of AI classroom monitors that flag behavior. Some educators love the data, others find it completely dystopian. And as we move into 2027, the result is major system fragmentation. Teachers and parents are fleeing the traditional system to find alternative models that actually work for them.
Which brings us right back to Ms. Ramirez from Texas. Remember her? She didn't quit on kids. She quit on a system that made her choose between being a teacher and a punching bag. Today, she runs her own highly structured, incredibly respectful micro school. She has 12 students, charges $400 a month in tuition, and the very first rule posted on her wall is, "We talk to each other like humans."
And that leaves us with the ultimate choice we have to make as a society. Do we want schools to be places of learning or places of negotiation? Do we want kids who are emotionally intelligent or academically prepared? The answer has to be both, but that only happens when parents and teachers stop seeing each other as the enemy. So to echo what I asked earlier, are we raising kids or are we raising bosses? Were you raised old school, gentle, or something right in between? Let us know down in the comments. Hit subscribe to keep learning with us, and I will see you in the next explainer.